Hello and welcome to my hopefully short video on how to route multi-channel output from QLab. In this particular video, in this particular assignment, that is, you're supposed to drive QLab out 6 different outputs, 3 stereo pairs that are going to end up on the Digico, and you probably encountered this page here on the instructions and said, whoa, that's confusing, and so I'm going to try to simplify it a little bit. It's actually very simple, but there's a lot of complicated stuff under the hood. So let's drop a sound here in here, electrical. Let's just grab one over here from QLab Media and press play, and I don't hear it. And you've probably experienced that too because the output's not going to the correct place. You've got to deal with drivers and outputs. If you select it, brings up the inspector, go down to audio levels, and look, it defaulted to something wacky, Zoom audio device. And I want to go to HD native Thunderbolt. I'm at home, but you will be using an HD native Thunderbolt as well, so select that. And output 1 and 2 is going over to a mixer, which we're monitoring through, and let's see if we can hear it. Cool. So it's obviously working. Now the problem is if you repeat this process and you put another sound effect in, and it defaults to the wrong one again and again and again. You can change this so that doesn't happen to you anymore by going up to Workspace, Settings, and grab the first audio patch and change it to what you want, because the first audio patch is what the cues default to. So make that first audio patch HD native Thunderbolt. It will actually fix the one I just made, and even better than that, any further cues that I put in will automatically default to patch number 1, and we will be able to hear them. So that's pretty cool. Now that doesn't not solve our multi-channel output question. If by default, luckily, it is going to outputs 1 and 2. Which is cool on Pro Tools, that's fine. But when you dive a little deeper into the assignment and you start looking at the cue sheet, you'll notice that each of these cues comes out of different outputs. So the doors come out of 3 and 4, the flybys come out of 1 and 2, and there's even some stuff that comes out of 5 and 6, and this spreads it across multi-channel across the Digico. So to do that, I'm going to get nerdy for a second, although I'm going to be honest, I don't completely understand the process, how QLab works with this, but if I hit the edit button, it does give me an indication of some of the stuff. I'm not going to speak QLab lingo because I'm not fully educated, but basically there are 64 buses of audio outputs, and they can matrix to your audio. Let me go back. There's 64 audio buses that you output to, and then you matrix those to your physical audio outputs that you have hanging off your computer. And since I have 16 here because I'm using an HDIO, these are the 64 bus inputs, and here are the 16 outputs, and you can do some routing to take care of it. Now, you don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. I figured it out just enough to figure out what was going on. Close all this. All you really need to know is that it's already been set up for you, and these 10 faders here are basically the 10 outputs going to the first 10 outputs of Pro Tools. I could see the full 16 by doing that. Now you can actually see the full 16 outputs of Pro Tools if you wanted. I'm going to zoom this up and make this a little bigger. And this matrix down here is what's really important. Right now, the cue, the electrical cue, is coming into the matrix at 0, unity gain, that's the input level. And it's going out to output 1 and output 2 at unity. You do have still a fader control here, but this right here is the matrix mixer. And so we've heard it, we know it's working, we know it's coming out of 1 and 2. If I wanted to nuke that and not make it come out of 1 and 2, I could actually delete that patch there in the matrix, and now it is not going to make any sound. So to make it go to 3 and 4, I just got to crank it up to unity on 3 and 4. And so, of course, 1 is left and 2 is right. A mono sample may only come in with 1. That's my guess. And now it's coming out of 3 and 4, which I'm not hearing right now. Why? Because I probably haven't patched it in. I'm going to look down on my HDIO, and yeah, I see it coming out of 3 and 4, and I'm not entirely sure why I'm not hearing it over there on the Mackie mixer. I probably don't have it up, but that's all you got to do to get it come out of 3 and 4, and of course 5 and 6 is going to be the same process down here. And what's going to happen on the output of your QLab rig in this assignment is we have a D sub hanging off the HDIO, and outputs 1 through 5 are going to patch into analog inputs. 1 through 6 are going to patch into analog inputs 1 through 6 on the Digico. So this would be 5 and 6. This is 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So each one of your samples, you're going to have to program what pair they come out of according to this sheet right here. Okay, is that enough for you? Great, I hope this helped.